In this video, I'm making the most unkillable Khora by completely removing her shields, but she can still shield gate. What's good, folks? It's NERFED here with a new Warframe video, coming at you with one of the most broken Khora synergies. One of the most broken survivability synergies in the game. Now, I know some of you might have been confused by that intro. Most people know Khora for the crazy damage and crowd control, but not so much in terms of survivability. People usually subsume off her 3 for a better survivability tool, so pay attention. I'm using the Helminth called Parasitic Armor. This Helminth ability comes from the Helminth system itself. It does what it says. It removes your shields, your entire shield pool, in favor of armor. Now, some of you might pause and say, "This is stupid. Khora doesn't need this, and she doesn't care for armor, and armor doesn't scale." You're absolutely right. But listen, this sacrifices her current shields and leaves you with 0 shields, but doesn't account for regenerated overshields. Now, what does that mean? Meaning you can completely lose your shields from the ability, but you can regenerate overshields, and the new overshields are now your new shield pool and function like your base shields. So if and when they break, they provide you with a shield gate. That kind of rhymed. Oh yeah, pretty nice, right? So I can run without a decaying dragon key, sacrifice my shields, and regenerate overshields, which count as base shields, making it the best shield gating synergy ever. So I end up getting the full 1.3 seconds of damage negation from the regenerated overshields 100% of the time, and never the 0.33 seconds because my shield pool is that low with barely any shields to replenish. If you want to know more about shield gating, go check out my shield gating guide for even more details. Now you're wondering, how am I regenerating these shields? Well, it's thanks to the auger mods. You just need to have one auger mod on your Warframe, which gives you 2 shields, or have auger mods on your secondary, or both, Warframe and secondary if you want, and you gain 7 shields. In this build, I won't be using Prime Flow, and to substitute that, I will have 2 blue Archon Shards that give me energy maximum. And if you have some bonus red shards lying around, shove them in for that melee crit damage multiplier increase, which also works on Whipclaw, her first ability. Whipclaw is a pseudo-exalted weapon, meaning it scales from Warframe equipped mods and melee equipped mods. It cannot be modded separately like exalted weapons. That's why it requires a stat stick. Alright, listen up, folks. A stat stick is a melee weapon not used as a traditional melee weapon, but a vessel to carry mods so that it will increase your damage output on the Warframe's melee ability. Meaning the weapon stats do not matter, just the mods. Because you're actually modding the ability rather than the equipped melee weapon. Since pseudo-exalted melee abilities all have their own unique stats and function differently. So any weapon works except combo pausing melees, as those will reset your combo count buildup. Meaning do not use the Zorus or Tenet Grigori and Livia as stat sticks. And why is combo important? Because all pseudo-exalted weapons scale off combo counter, giving them a 3.75 times final damage multiplier, and a 4 times final damage multiplier if you're using the Venka, as it goes up to 13 times combo. And the only time where a specific melee weapon will matter is when you have or are going for a Riven, as Rivens are mods and count towards the damage output on the pseudo-exalted weapons. Khora's Whipclaw is the most versatile and deadliest of all pseudo-exalteds, as it can do 2 times more damage on ensnared enemies. And she also has her first ability Augment, giving her 350% base damage multiplier on the Whipclaw. Meaning if you were to use the Augment, you won't need power strength, so building for ability strength and the Augment is redundant and will give you diminishing returns, as they do the same thing. So you're better off outsourcing your multipliers from other sources. This build destroys without a Riven, but for those who want to min-max and are looking for a Riven, here are free negatives to have on your stat stick Riven, meaning negative effects that won't even phase your damage. And negatives are needed on Rivens to greatly increase your positive attributes. So it's safe to have negative faction damage multipliers, status duration, attack speed, range, crit on slight attack, finisher damage, and impact or puncture. Main stats you want on your Riven are crit damage and damage with a negative. This is for a more universal Riven. You can have 3 positives with crit chance or slash as the third. Electric and heat are fine as well for copium loadouts. Since Khora's Whipclaw will hit over 100% crit chance, it is best to multiply the damage your crits deal. Anything that isn't within those negatives, avoid the Riven like a plague. Now, how to maintain your combo duration. There are 4 easy ways that can be used together. 1, this method is to have both primary and secondary dexterity arcanes on your guns. Both of these equipped will give you 20 seconds of combo duration. You can also have the aura Swift Momentum equipped for the additional 6 seconds of combo duration. And for the additional flexibility, if you somehow are in a mission with a lot of downtime like interception or defense, where enemies take 1 year to spawn, or the little wait between each wave, you can use the Naramon Focus School with the Power Spike node, so your combo doesn't fully disappear and decays slowly. Or if you're going Rivenless, I suggest the Praetos with its utility to give you initial combo and gain combo from ammo pickups. Why Rivenless? Because the Praetos is a popular weapon and the Riven disposition is horrible, so the stats you will get are also horrible. Alright, now that you have an idea on how she works, let's get on with the build. Because if you did not pay attention, well, that's on you. In the aura, you can pretty much use whatever you want. Steel Charge for the 60% additional melee base damage and mod capacity. Swift Momentum for the combo duration. Enemy Radar for the enemy positioning. Corrosive Projection for that little bit of armor strip. And Shepherd for some companion memes. Cause why not? Very flexible aura slot. Range at 235% with stretch and overextended. This range is to increase the reach of my Whipclaw and the size and grab radius of my dome, as the explosion radius on Whipclaw is already capped out at 10 meters with 200% range. 175% efficiency, which is the efficiency cap with a level 4 fleeting and streamline, reducing the energy cost of the abilities, but still gain shields even when using one auger mod. And the fleeting mod tanks our duration, but I counteract it with prime continuity and auger message. This duration is also here to increase the duration on my parasitic armor and strangle dome. The augment accumulating Whipclaw for the 350% base damage on Whipclaw, and finally rolling guard for the status effect cleansing and 3 seconds of invulnerability. Now, if you want to use this build for farming, all you have to do is swap Streamline for Pilfering Strangle Dome, as that augment allows bonus loot to drop when enemies are caught within the Strangle Dome. This also includes energy orbs. For the arcanes, I have Arcane Fury for the 180% melee base damage when I crit, and you know we're always critting. Finally, Arcane Energize for the amazing energy replenishment. And now your stat stick. As I said, do not use the Zorus or the Gregorian Livia, or else you lose combo buildup. And if you ask why you're not doing damage, well, for 1, max your mods and arcanes, 2, build up your augment damage, and lastly, combo counter. I will show you a Rivenless stat stick build. I usually build for Slash on Khora because it is one of the loadouts that scales higher, deals slash damage, and proc bleeds. However, I will show you other variations as well. So, get your melee weapon, and remember the stance doesn't matter for a stat stick build, so you save up on a Forma. Prime Pressure Point for the melee base damage, Blood Rush for the crit chance when you build up combo. With this mod alone, you get 135% crit chance at 12 times combo. Now that we're critting 100% of the time, we multiply the damage our crits deal with Organ Shatter and Gladiator Might for that critical damage increase. And since I have the Gladiator Scent bonus with Gladiator Might, my crit chance goes up to 162.6%. That means we have 62% chance to hit orange crits, which further increases our damage. To boost my slash proc bias and waiting, along with status chance, I have Buzzkill and Carnus Mandible for the slash damage increase, and add Weeping Wounds to further boost my status chance. I will have a total of 120% status chance and a 3.1 times bonus slash damage weighting. Now the last mod can be whatever bonus you want to add, meaning your Riven, but since this is a Rivenless build, you have 2 options. More crit chance with Sacrificial Steel to bring it up to 272.6% crit chance, meaning more consistent oranges with a splash of red. Or you can add Spoiled Strike for more base damage, which also boosts your slash damage and DOT. If you're fighting against Corpus, just replace the 2 slash mods for 2 Toxin mods, as Toxin bypasses shields, so it just makes a joke out of the Corpus. For raw corrosive damage, replace the Toxin 60/60 for Shocking Touch damage, and remove Weeping Wounds for Spoiled Strike, which is a well-rounded build for pretty much anything, and one-shots acolytes if they're ensnared. And against Infested, replace the Electric and Spoiled Strike mod for Heat and Weeping Wounds. Now you have gas damage, a nice additional AoE that shreds the Infested. I hope this helps you understand Khora a bit more. And finally, your VENARI. It can be used as an additional enemy radar and fetch cat, even though you've subsumed over VENARI, because she's a passive. And for farming purposes, you can run a Smeeta Kavant for that additional loot, especially if your charm mod procs. Or for endurance purposes, you have your Panzer Vulpaphyla. Alright folks, that has been it from this video. If you have any questions, please ask away in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed and learned something new, please feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe for more Warframe content streams and so much more. Do refer to the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.